This was the idea of people standing in a room next to a wall, and over the wall was a wave coming. The wave is stationary, and because you think water should be liquid, you would expect water to be coming towards you, but because it's ice, that's where I got the idea from. It's stationary, and then the first moment you think, well, water's coming towards me, and after a few seconds you see it's stationary and you're not afraid anymore. Of course, the use of light and sound will improve the whole vertigo aspect of it. I don't have the sound today, but it's the sound of rushing water, like a waterfall. So you would think even more that water's come towards you. And the meeting after that, I showed you a few techniques to try and make this. I tried to take this one now, vacuum forming, because that's the one I thought would be most appropriate for this and is within reach for me. And I wanted to try something with the resin forming. And the resin forming was quite expensive, too expensive for me to try it on this model. So I made this model. This is it. I made the wall, that's the box, and I made a wave form with vacuum forming. I can show you on the computer how I did it. I first made a mold that's made of foam. I'll just size it up for you. Looks like this. And you shaped a whole wave out of it, just with files and sanding paper. And then I used the technique of vacuum forming to vacuum form over it. I had to do it a few times over, because it didn't work quite as easy as I thought the first time. This is the same block as I showed you, the block in form of the wave. And then you put a sheet of this plastic under a machine that warms it and then pushes the block through. That's already happened now. Pushes it through and then sucks the air out underneath. Now it sucked all the air out, and it takes a while. It's cooling it down with some air from the outside, so it's getting hard again. And I ended up with this result. After that, I made the box and put it in. Then use this just simple bike light under it to try and create somewhat of a light effect, but of course you can only see it when it's dark. Last meeting we had a discussion about using cellophane and wrapping that up. That didn't really work because what we expected, it folded out. I got some to show you. I used this. But if you wrap it up, it's just flat again. But what I did stuff it in there, but you didn't really create a wave form, but it did something really cool with the light. So I put it in the hollow shape here, and maybe if you film it from above, and if you look from above, you can see it scatters the light a bit. It gives a bit of an icy feel to it, because in the ice there are always cracks and that deflect the light, and that's the sharp light deflection that's in here too. I thought it was really cool, and that's why I put it in. I also tried some other plastics to put in there, but this was the best result.
Have you thought about what kind of space can present this?
Yeah, of course. When people walk into the space where it should be, they shouldn't see it directly. So I think it should be dark, but I don't have this big a box to put around it. I did think about making a looking box, but it's quite big, so I didn't. But it should be a dark space, and at one sudden you should see the light and it's kind of flickering, I think, and the sound, and then you should be vertigoed by the wave. So you see it at once, and then it won't last for very long, because you see it doesn't work anymore, it doesn't move. But first 10 seconds.
This reminds me, there's a hotel in North Europe. It's all made by ice, but it was also because the experience was inside the ice house. And I think if you put like several pieces of this in the box, and with all the lightings up, and when people goes inside there and hear the sounds, I think they can feel something very similar to that, but more maybe scary, but more surprised or shocked than that because of the artificial lights and the sounds you put together.
Yeah, you can.
And then even they know the tricks after they went in for a while, but still they can feel the
presence.
Yes, the impression.
Yeah, light. You can do a lot with light, and this light is kind of blue, and it works quite well because if ice is blue too, the wave is blue, and ice just frozen is when light comes through it, it gives a blue effect too, really clear ice. So that's why I think these halogen lamps or LED lamps, I don't know what they are, but they give this kind of bluish white light, and that works really great. And then if you point them up and really flickering, kind of stroboscope thing, and then you'll be shocked too, and it enhances the effect.
And as for the scale, you're limited in scale, you said, huh, of this kind of material.
And this way of making it, of course, it depends on the machine you use, but you can't make it as big as it should be in this model. But maybe you can use this to make quite large. I think meter to a meter is possible. And if you make it in sections, I think it should be possible. And then fill it with that stuff, but that's any size. If you make it a bit thicker, it gets a bit wider bump then. So if I would make it really big, I would slice it here, and then you can make all these sections, and from the underside you can make all the sections and unite them again. And then you can reuse your mold, but you would have a repetitive pattern here. You can make that as a wave.